Okay, today we are going to be making a neckerchief slide. There are two different styles, and use your imagination. You can make this any way you want to. But essentially, whatever, this is a Webelow neckerchief, but this neckerchief slide will be able to go on any color neckerchief. In the bag here, each of you will have a bag with 12 beads per color, so 12 yellow, 12 blue. Some bags have 15 per color. You will definitely not need 15, so please set those aside and only use 12. I have experimented, and you can see this one is with about 15 per color, and this one is 12. It's a little bit smaller. It is for Cub Scouts. The neckerchief is way too thin for the bigger slide. If you want to do this activity with your older scouts, then use 15. For the younger scouts, our cubbies, we're going to use 12 per color. So in the bag, go ahead and dump everything out. You will have, again, some plastic cord and approximately 12 to 15 colors per, 12 beads per color. So the easiest way to do this is to start by looping however you want your design. So I'm going to stick with this design, but if you wanted to do every other color, you could do a blue, a yellow, blue, or you could do two blues and a yellow. This is completely up to how you want to use your imagination. But you put 3 beads on like this. Oops, if I can get it through the hole. All right, and then once you get it to the end, then the easiest way, even though this plastic sometimes has a mind of its own, this plastic cord, is you're going to want to try to make it as even as possible on both sides before you add the next color beads. So then the next, we're going to go on the top one here, and we're going to add, actually we're going to do the bottom cord, the bottom cord, not the top. And you're going to add the next set of 3 colors. So I'm going to do all yellows, but again, you could do yellow, yellow, blue. You could do blue, blue, yellow. This is completely however, and you can experiment. You can try it and redo this again if you don't like it. It's really very adaptable. Okay, so once you've now put them on like that, okay, then you are going to take the top string, and again, this thing is being a little bit finicky, so don't use the bottom one, use the top, and loop it back through the bottom 3 colors, like this. So you should see it almost looking, it's gonna look a little funny at first, but then once you pull both sides together, it will start to look like the neckerchief slide. So you can see what it looks like when it's combined. Now, the problem here is this is way too short. You will not be able to do this activity if you keep this too short on this side. So you got to kind of maneuver the beads back over to the right side to where now it's more even. From here, again, it's really important that you keep the string on the bottom. Sometimes it's going to want to flip like that. You do not want it to flip over. You want to keep all of your beads coming down like this. Okay, from here, Now you're going to, again, add, same left side, the top, oops, see it flipped already. You want that to be on the bottom. So add your next set of 3 beads. All right, so now you are going to, again, pull it. Oops, not quite. When you get done adding the 3 beads, then you will push again through this top, the top string is going to go through the beads like that. It's a very repetitive process. So when you pull it, it should, if it's being cooperative, come to the bottom. And it's okay if it bunches up. That is pretty normal. You will be able to fix it more towards the end. But you just keep going. So I'm going to pause the video for now because the next, oh gosh, you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8. You are going to do 8 rows, whatever design you want, and then we'll come back to the next step here in a moment. Before we do the final step, I want to just make sure I comment on it being very tight. If you try to move on to the next set of beads and it's loose like this, it will cause issues. So make sure before you go on to the next row of beads, you really kind of pull it very tight. And sometimes you have to actually get the beads on, the next row on, and maneuver it some. So if it gets to this point and you need help, ask your parent or come ask one of the volunteers and we can help it stay tight for you as you go to the next level of beads. One other thing I want to just make sure, if you haven't already noticed, you always need to make sure you pull your beads down to the next row like this. Just a minute ago, I made the mistake of trying to put this string in through those beads, and it does not work. So this string is very much not being very cooperative right now, so you really have to maneuver it and pull it down like this. Okay. Once you get it in a row like that, that's when you have to then push the final bit through the last 3 beads. And again, your parent and your volunteers will be there to help you get it through this last little bit here. Oop. See, even I struggle. It's not always easy towards the end here, but we're almost there. Okay, so now we have, and it's okay, you see there's a couple of these beads that are kind of protruding up. That's okay. It's going to all be a circle and you won't be able to tell. But this is what the finished product will look like before you make it into the actual neckerchief. So this is my favorite part. You get to pull it around. And let's see, what's the easiest way to do this? So I think the easiest way is to keep this on the bottom, like how we had it, and then loop it through the top bit right there. Oops. Okay. So you can see it's going through the top piece there, the top blue, or whatever you had for the very top piece, what you started with, and you're going to pull that, and you see how it's starting to turn into a circle? So you just keep pulling and pulling and pulling, and you can see it's starting to, and so you might have to form it into what you want it to look like, but it's starting to look like the neckerchief. Now, this is one of the last steps, but you can see here, this part here is not together. We have to tie that together. So we do not want it to stay separated or it won't be the complete neckerchief holder. So then what you have to do is just tie it. Very easy. Now, there are some awesome knots that some older scouts or your parents can show you, but we're just going to do a basic one right now just to get it really solid. So you can see there's all this extra bit. Now, we're going to do one more step before we cut the string. So just to add an extra bit of protection, and feel free, if you want to do a fun scout or knot, have at it. There's many you can choose from. But just for the simplicity of this video, I am going to just do a basic one that I already did. So now, the final step is to push through, and this one might be a little tricky, but you're going to push through the extra string through the hole. You're going to do it for both of the sides. And you're going to end up tying it on the other side. So there's one that's through. And then you'll go back over here to the other side. So you're going to kind of sandwich the hole that you initially went through. This will give it extra protection. Getting a little tricky. Okay, so now that I've gotten it through the other side, this is just going to give your neckerchief a little bit more protection so it stays put. So now that you got both ends through the other side, like this, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to then tie it in a knot like this. Oops. So I had to change the string hole it went through. It was changing the form. So don't do the sandwiched one like we talked about. You're actually just going to do, this is the hole we actually threaded through the first time, and then we went through the next two to the left. That will make for a much easier knot at the end here. Okay. Now it won't change its form when the knots are right by each other, the holes. So again, you can use any kind of scout or knot, more power to you. If you do, you get extra scout points. I'm gonna do a little funky one just to make sure it's good. Oops. It's a little bulky. Knots are not my best strength. I have to learn from my newly crossed over AOL. He'll teach me more. But essentially that's what it's going to look like at the very end. And then we are done. So then you just snip at the very end. You snip again. Make sure you choose the right knot. My knot was not the best, but it is an easy fix. So this is your finished product. If you don't succeed at first, try again. So this is something you can take back to your own pack and teach others. So feel free to share this video. And it can be all different kinds of colors. So you might decide that you want to do orange and white for tigers, and then do this yellow and blue for just your lions. So it can really be fully in your boat on what that looks like. And I'll show you here why the doing 15 beads is just too big for cubs. You can see how easily this moves. When it's just the 12, it really fits very snug. And I know all you parents love losing your neckerchief holders, so definitely recommend doing the 12 beads per color versus the 15. So there you have it. You have an awesome combination of what you want it to look like, and you can use your imagination. You can make this design look any way you want to. Thank you for scouting. Keep it fun, and we'll see you next time.